Awesome. So you guys can already see my screen. So as I say, my core focus today is just to give you an overview of how we should be using TikTok to generate content. I'm going to give you some steps in terms of what you should be focusing on, how you can segment some of these, influencers, really dive into your audience, and then how you can repurpose this on Amazon. So I'm going to start with a brief intro about myself in case you guys don't know who I am. So my name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy. Ecomcy is a full service agency for Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok brands. So as of now, we have a team of over 60 people. So we specialize on doing everything in-house when it comes to their PPC, DSP, brand creative, product launch, and international expansion, everything from A to Z. And actually, we have a portfolio over 9-figure in revenue managed. So we have a lot of expertise when it comes to really figuring out what is impacting and driving growth on our brands. And that's, of course, why we do and put so much content out there. Myself, I have a podcast called The E-commerce Lab, which I will say most of the people on this call has been on there. So feel free to check it out. That's, a bunch of content that you can find regarding everything Amazon, Walmart, TikTok, what is working, what is not working, and making sure we can help you navigate your journey. So let's dive into today's topic, which is, why TikTok and why we really need to leverage this platform. So, the numbers are not lying. TikTok's been having a significant growth as we see in terms of the marketplace. So the amount of views that we see across the board, and not only in general of a platform, but also what we see across all the brands that we put on TikTok is definitely driving a lot of awareness. I would say it's very difficult these days to get that amount of views and engagement on platforms such as Amazon, especially if you end up putting, thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So the reason why TikTok is creating this unique kind of space is because the space that they have created to create a trust with your consumer. And that's where the key really lies on. Like creating content that create trust is going to be so much better than the line in terms of snowballing the growth of your brand than only focusing on traditional advertising. And on top of that, that explains why the customer base is growing significantly month after month. Like a lot of people has been saying, TikTok is only being a phase, it's going to eventually die, but the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. So it's definitely something that is going to stick, and you need to understand how to maximize that. Now, when it comes to UGC side of things, the reason why I'm such a big pusher when it comes to using this on Amazon is because if you go right now on Amazon, search for any specific brand or product, you're going to see most people is be using very generic content from the perspective, especially with AI. Everybody's using images generated by ChatGPT or third-party tools out there, images out of the shelf, so nothing really custom or conveying a message that's unique. And some of the brands that we have under our portfolio right now that you're actually using UGC are the ones doing the best. Why? Because you can see yourself on the image. You can see the person having the same issue, person having the same lifestyle. And that's really what we need to do with TikTok, is understanding how we tap into those audiences by finding the right influencers. And those influencers are going to do the heavy lifting. They're going to say, trust this brand, trust this product, that fixes your issue. And that's why this is a product that you need to have, within your household. Okay. So now, something I wanted to highlight very quickly in terms of, some numbers before I go into the step-by-step of what we usually do when it comes to leveraging the TikTok side of things on Amazon, is like case studies like the one that you're seeing here, right? So there's a bunch of case studies out there, and I'm sure you're going to hear many more from the experts that are going to be talking today of significant growth in sales and views just by, using the right kind of influences within TikTok that are going to allow you to create that virality. Why does that happen? Is because of how the platform is designed compared to Amazon. And TikTok is all down to engagement, sharing each other video, the comments, the liking, something that on Amazon really you're never going to reach that level of virality. And that actually translates into revenue, not only in TikTok itself, but also Amazon. And there's actually many examples that we have as well that we're going to be showing, that it shows how by doing this consistently on TikTok is going to influence the search and exposure you're going to get on TikTok as a platform. So Now, let's start into actionable steps in terms of how we make this happen, right? The first thing is understanding how we generate this UGC content. So we start creating the awareness and then we translate that into Amazon. I would say the most important thing here, guys, is finding the actual audience because TikTok, given that has so much virality effect, that also means that you can spend a lot of money very fast and not really have an impact. The reason for that is because, I mean, there's millions of influencers and you can very easily end up in audiences that rather than helping your brand can damage it based on what is actually the actual mission or culture behind the audience in terms of how they might perceive a product like yours, how they actually comment among themselves as people that is actually engaging from a revenue perspective, or as people that is more engaging from only kind of content perspective. So that's where we're going to dive into how we can use some of the tools that we're going to be sharing throughout the presentation in terms of how you tap into the right influencers, and only from a commercial point of view, only paying this influencer once and only having one transaction, but making sure they actually become your ambassadors. So when it comes to finding the audience, something that we do here is we actually leverage also our Amazon data, right? The nice thing of you, especially coming from a marketplace such as Amazon, you have so much data from brand analytics, pro opportunity explorer, even your own PPC campaigns, all the different kind of third-party tools that you also get within Amazon. And then what we try to do with this is, summarize all this information with tools such as ChatGPT. I really create a persona. Like the persona could be down to, what is the gender, what is the lifestyle, how much money they make, what kind of things they're looking in this a product, what kind of message they actually stand behind, because that's what then is going to be or kind of a blueprint to then go out there into the TikTok ecosystem and start exploring trends, hashtags, all the different things within a niche, and find the right influencers for us to start generating that juicy content. Now, when it comes to this, something that is going to be also very important is you want to also reverse engineer what works and what doesn't work. I mean, in TikTok is very easy within the different metrics that TikTok share with you in terms of visualizations and engagement, and there's also third-party tools that will give you this. What kind of format works the most, like either unboxing experiences, either how to before and after. This is something that most of the time we have seen. If it works on TikTok, will work on Amazon because again, it's the same avatar. So make sure that you do that right and go very blindly in terms of selecting the type of format that these influencers will do. Once you have that avatar kind of defined and what kind of format you want those influencers to do, that's where we dive into finding these micro influencers. I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily micro influencers. The reason why we usually try to push for micro influencers is because at the end of the day, we are considering that most people don't have unlimited budget when it comes to working with influencers. So that's why we try to make it as affordable as possible. But the reality is, if budget is not an issue, you can go as deep as possible in terms of the size of some of these influencers. And here, for example, these are some clear examples of how brands such as, for example, Beats are heavily using TikTok for influence or marketplaces. Like if you actually have a look at brands such as Beats by Dr. Dre, you're gonna see that they are very pushy into working with influencer, pushing in terms of new product, the lifestyle, why my headphones are better than the rest, and X, Y, and Z. And the next thing about this is that when we work with micro influencers and creating this UGC content, we actually repurpose that from two points of view. Not only from the perspective of creating the content that we might use in our listing, videos, and even PPC, but also from the perspective of tracking it. Now, when it comes to TikTok, of course, something we try to do as well, it's not easy to track the outcome you have in terms of exposure on Amazon, because even if somebody visualizes something on TikTok, it's not always attributed to whatever they do on Amazon. However, there's ways that you can kind of manually track that. It could be as simple as the influencer on the video mentioning a specific coupon that they had to claim that on Amazon, or mention a specific landing page where once they land on the landing page from TikTok to the landing page, they get pixel, right? And then from that landing page to Amazon, we can track the whole kind of engagement with your brand. So there's ways that definitely you can implement in terms of going more on the analytical side of things. But I will say at the beginning, where you really need to focus the most is getting the content and repurposing that in terms of visual aid across how people interact with your product details pages. So now, when it comes to finding these right creators, like, of course, you're gonna find three main ways of doing this. So the first one, you have the platforms. So the ones that we use the most are Topfluence, Six Social, and Favicon. Now, when it comes to these, I would recommend that you give it a try to each of them, because depending on price point, how much usage you give it to them, and the whole kind of visualization of the data is like even the Amazon space, Helium Jungle Sky data, you are going to have different preferences. In TikTok, that's usually the main three that we utilize. Then you have the marketplace within TikTok itself, where you manually will find influencers where you can reach out to them, you can offer them a commission, you can send them a sample. And that's usually where I would say, if your budget is more limited, I will start. It's more manual though. There's APIs out there that you can implement to automate sending messages and engaging with all these influencers. But at the beginning, if you want to be more selective, especially because, as I mentioned, you can go very broad very fast and tap into audiences that are not effective, I would recommend you at the beginning are more manual in terms of which influencers you work with. And you can even have a VA that follows exactly the blueprint of what kind of influencers you can work with and which one to send the sample to, then you do the UGC content and so on. And then the third one, which is kind of combined with the first one, is where you start tracking everything. Because once you start working on commissions and all of that, the goal here is not only to track performance in terms of how much content they give you, but it's actually what is actually impact from an engagement and an awareness point of view. I would say again, if you ask me, TikTok is something that for all the brands that we work with, we actually focus on content, not really on numbers, because I use it as a content machine. But I know for a lot of you, the goal is actually more revenue kind of driven goal. So if that's the case, those tools that you see right there are definitely going to be your best friend. Now, when it comes to the engaging, I would say there's many things, and you're gonna find a lot of hacks from everybody on today's webinar. But I would say the most important thing, if you ask me, is a 3-second hook. Like, if you don't have a hook on the beginning of a video, trust me, you can have the most beautiful influencer, most engaging one throughout the whole length of the video. But those 3 seconds are key. Like, we see that that's been the difference between winning or not in terms of making a video go viral. So you need to put a lot of research into that. Have a look at the influencers that have the most amount of engagement, see what they do at the beginning. If they break a glass, if they jump, they say something specific, it's going to be very localized depending on the audience and the niche, but that's something you have to master. If you don't master and you give those instructions to your UGC content, it's going to end up sometimes be, very kind of baseline, and it's not going to create that wow effect that we want on your Amazon listings and your PPC. And of course, the other 3 points, which is authentic and the user participation, is a must. I would say that's a non-negotiable, but the 3-second one is where I see people dropping the most ball. And I will invite you to, even with AI and GPT, ask a lot of questions about how you can master that on your videos. And I would say once we start finalizing the strategy, I mean, we already talked about the UGC content, how we can repurpose our own listings, but then we jump more into the kind of analytical side of the strategy. Once you figure out which UGC content works and which one doesn't work, we usually move into Spark ads. Like, this, essentially, we already know what organically is working from a UGC point of view. Why not put more money behind them and amplify the exposure that we get? And then from there, it's all going to be KPI driven. Like, what kind of engagement or metrics we're getting from these Spark ads. And then from there, the sky's the limit. We might decide then to replicate some of these ads, transfer some of these content to Amazon sponsor brand campaigns, like especially video that you can do also vertical video on Amazon. And then it will be a matter of split testing there. And then when it comes to coming to a conclusion here in terms of, what I will do once we find us winning UGC content, you want to do 3 main things. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that video, a piece of content, is within your product details pages. It could be on the shape of usually a video, right? But also, if the influencer allows you and the influencer has some big influence on the space, you could repurpose maybe them as images on your product details pages. Then within the A+, especially if you have premium, you can also have video there. We will try to repurpose that in there. And then when it comes to advertising, I already mentioned, we will do that in the shape of engaging with our consumers. And then something that we try to be very proactive. And again, this is then it would be more strategies that will go beyond Amazon. Is how we repurpose the UGC content as a post purchase. So, for example, we do a lot of inserts where how to use this product. We have a UGC content that's an influencer that talks about this, and by scanning this QR code, they get access to the UGC kind of material, right? So that's ways of you engaging and also give them the answers that they need. And finally, I mean, this is more like a visual kind of way of what we do in terms of the the whole wheel of engagement. The first one is, as I said, finding those micro influences once you have your avatar. Start creating as much UGC as possible, split test what works, what doesn't work. What works, we're going to do Spark ads and transfer that to Amazon in the shape of Amazon ads and in the shape of Amazon content. And also with the UGC content that we do within TikTok, we're going to try to split test some of that by tracking attribution to specific links that people will mention on the video, specific coupons, and also then track within brand analytics and all our internal Amazon reports how our impressions and how our funnel improves. If it works, rinse and repeat. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board and make sure we generate new content. So that's everything from me, guys. Of course, now I'm going to leave you with the next speaker. As I said, if you have any questions about what I just mentioned, feel free to drop it down below. But now I'm going to leave you with Isabella, which I'm sure she's going to also drop some bomb. And that's it. Isabella?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I've been given 10 minutes and I hope I will be right on time.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am not TikTok guru. Okay, Michelle and others here, they're doing their job great with doing TikTok shop. I fucked up my TikTok back in, I think, January or whenever was it. We tried to open our TikTok shop for a very long time, and then we went to family vacation, and when we came back, we had 4,800 in orders. And of course, we didn't ship it on time. We didn't know that it was possible to do on time, and we had inventory in transition. So now I can't have a TikTok shop account. But that's a sign of, even if you don't know what you're doing, you can be very successful with TikTok shop and make a lot of money out of there. So if we were not able to be reopened. However, when it comes to product research, validation, and development, we do recommend everyone to be based on Amazon data first. And Vincenzo, can you shut yourself down because your noise is like in a second
Sorry.
grounds. Thank you. So when it comes to product research, validation, and development, Amazon is the one, generally speaking, one P data for you. It's not really 1P, but it's a first thing where you can go to make sure that you will be on the right track with your competition and with amount of brands out there. So Amazon released, I think last week, new dashboard, which I am pretty confident they will be sharing with you guys at Amazon Accelerate. And I want to share with those that are not going there how to read this data properly when you are validating one product or another. I picked completely different product that no one is planning to sell on Amazon and never will. So it's not for the example. However, for example, your keyword is lilac candle, right? And I will walk you through a couple of things. So that's step number one. Amazon now has an opportunity where you can do mix and match of different metrics. So for example, you want to be based on product count, and you want to look at the search conversion rate, which is like one of my favorite metrics, or you want to look at the top 5 brand clicks share. And you can go through this metrics and understand, okay, I have 15 products for that are selling lilac candle back in whatever it was, just like 45 products back in April, and the click share of these brands was 63%. Or you are able to take a look how many of those brands are actually sponsoring and fighting for the auction and to be shown on a page one, and how many out of those that are trying to compete are prime products, and how many of those are sharing top 5 click, having top 5 click share and top 20 click share. And as we can see here, in both of those, we have only we have 96%, but we're still under 100% in total click share, which gives you like a little opportunity, right? But if you will come back, of course, we have like average pricing, which is like not beneficial when you're going into cheap products. I'm not going to touch base those things. However, how it's tied to TikTok. So when you're looking into Amazon data and you want to validate certain products to sell, you are looking at the brands that already performing very well on Amazon. And for example, you're very happy with the amount of sponsored products, and you're very happy with the amount of Prime products, and you are very happy with the proportion in between search volume and top click products, right? It is not like the metrics I'm showing right now, they're not the most beneficial, because I would not probably go into 100,000 search volume over a year with click products, top click product of 33, and 100% of products, 20 products are having 100% click share. I would not go into that, but that gives you perspective, right? So you can already say yourself first yes or first no. And the next step I would recommend everyone to do is, after you went through this data, and the primary one, I want to pay attention to product count and search conversion rate, because search conversion rate is one of those that is kind of guiding you with market satisfaction. So if the search conversion rate, as we can see here with the purple purple color, we have 7%, 9%, 6%, 10%. For physical product is a very high satisfactory factor. So what it means, people are happy with those products. They're not looking for something else. They will not leave Amazon to look for this product on Shopify or Google or Instagram or TikTok, right? So if they are able to find something they're looking for that is based on their customer requirements. And when this conversion rate is below 2%, especially below 1%, this is where the sign like, hey, I probably can launch this product and sell this product successfully on Amazon or TikTok Shop or somewhere else, because there is a lot of shoppers that are not happy with the product that is being sold as of right now. And the second part, so for example, you did this simple pre-validation to your product, and you are going to the next step, which is Voc AI, and I preloaded for you some content here, and I put here Yankee Candle. So in Voc AI, they have a very interesting feature that's called social listening. And when you're going into social listening, you're able to filter for like time range. Like you can have mentions of your brand, of the product for the recent 3 days, 1 month, or 3 months, or 9 months. I put 3 months because that's the most valuable data you can have. So how many content was out there for Yankee Candle in the past 3 months? And I have 20,000 piece of content, where we have 518 over the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok released pretty much the most amount of content, which is 6,439. And if I want to see what kind of content was for Yankee Candle, I am clicking to TikTok, and I also can rank it based on the most engagement content, most comments, most reads, and etc. But you will ask me what this information will give me. So now you have a perspective which influencers are promoting this type of the product, how they approach it, what type of the content is the most successful to your brand, or to the product you are planning to launch, or you already launched the product and you don't know how to make the most out of it and how can you make more sales. So you can literally look at it, reposition similar content to yours, and launch it with same or similar influencers and be successful out there. I know it's not this content is not preloaded, but you can always, it's all clickable, so you can click on content and go to the page and being able to see it. Some accounts are closed, some of them are not, but you can see how it's 2,000 views, some of them are 1,000 views, some of them are 3,000 views, and you're paying attention, and Michelle probably will mention it more when there is more comments and more shares. So those content that you will be actually valuable for repositioning. And don't hesitate, of course, to look at the news and look also, pay attention which languages are mentioning this type of the brand, because as we're moving forward with product launches, we should expand ourselves into more marketplaces. So if, for example, I think it's Korean language, I would assume so, or Thai language, if Asian people are talking about this type of the product, try to validate if the search volume and customers are supporting this product somewhere else, and maybe because of the lower amount of competition is on that marketplace, you will try to tap into that market and launch there. And if you want to learn more, here is the QR code to my WhatsApp chat. You can scan it. I will approve you manually, and I'm done in 10 minutes.
Awesome, Isabella. Thank you. Very nice way of funding products, which at the end of the day is the key. You don't have a product, no money. Very good. Thank you. Awesome. So now next one, my friend Colin. Colin, floor is yours.
Damn, guys. Okay, Isabella, you killed it. Okay, let me see if I can match your energy here right now. All right, guys. Thanks, you. This is so amazing. Thanks for having me. I am. I would say that I worked in TikTok in 2020, 21 period of time. We grow our TikTok from 0 to 80 million views, but I'm not here to talk about TikTok. I made a decision that I always have a shiny object syndrome, like oh, if TikTok is go there, Facebook go there. So I decided to focus on Amazon launches only for the last almost like 18 months. I work on that one alone. So we launched close to like 170 products in the last 12 months at this point. What I'm going to specifically talk about is specifically here is like how you can build a TikTok traffic, either come from your brand keyword or it come from someone else keywords, like how you can utilize this in your advantage at this point. If you don't know me, I'm Colin Raja. Okay, that's my slide. Okay. I have a 7-figure Amazon seller, and also I have a Amazon growth agency. The last 12 years expertise in Amazon. Built a 7-figure brand. In the last 12 months, I launched close to 170 products so far. So here's a typical challenge. Whenever I work with the TikTok brand, I work, this is what the typical challenge I work with on that. It's not like every other product. It comes with like a crazy spiking all the time. It's always like goes ups and downs. You get the spike and it goes down. And after that, you get the spike on certain videos, and that's a virality. It goes like that all the time. When I see it, people don't ever take advantage of the spike speed season. That's where what are you going to get out of this? The whole question is all about how you can turn your inconsistent spike into a stable Amazon growth. With the right strategy, every spike you can able to turn your long lasting keyword momentum. We are going to talk about specifically on how we going to take all the keywords, what are you going to show in your TikTok or in your Amazon brand analytics and your SQP data, how you can utilize it for your own advantage at this point. I follow certain things I follow certain principles in my life. Actually, I live by a principle knowing my time will come and I will always prepare for it. So with this one, right, my goal is to walk away with even a one or two, a small clarity, what you guys can have. And then that will, the session has done this job actually. And I know everybody here, want to come here to get like even a single piece of puzzle to grow your business. I hope I can deliver this. And I hope this webinar, what we all doing here, will deliver this knowledge. With that said, I'm going to go quickly on to the segmentation. What's the first problem, what I find actually, which I work with one of the brand. What happened is, right, they got a good spike coming out. This is what happens. Whenever the spike comes, they going only on the branded keywords they were able to convert. If somebody mentioned on certain keywords, they were not able to convert pretty well actually. Even though somebody see their video, they go to like a certain product, different products, and then like buying those different competitive products. And that's why I say don't shy away if your branded keyword, not branded keyword, if any of the keywords is spike is coming out of like TikTok, use it for your own advantage, even if you don't have the TikTok. We were like able to see if the spike is coming, some keyword is coming out of TikTok, we were able to use that keyword for our own advantage in our listing completely. So the problem what we found is basically like this. They are focusing on supplement stacker, but the listing creator for value buyers. Well, because the supplement stackers are less price sensitive person, and then the value buyers are more looking for higher, like lower pricing, and they want like a higher reviews person. That's the only way they can convert actually. And they're focusing on ingredient focus, and they're focusing on like everything related to pricing and the images. That's a value buyer usually. The what's a lesson what I learned out of is you need to prepare your audience specifically towards who you want to be focused on. It is not about who you're getting into your listing. It is all about like avoiding who you shouldn't be having in your listing. That's the best strategy what I find. I am trying to put slap on the people face right now in Amazon. It's like when they see the image, I don't want them to come in and if that they are not relevant to that listing. And I don't want to focus on everything and everybody. It is not about keywords, focusing on all the keywords. It is all about focusing on the right keyword or right segmentation. We built an internal tool, and I'm going to share with you guys later on this. This is like one of the brand we run, and I'll tell you what is the problem with this actually. And then I couldn't share about the supplement product, but I can happy to share with this one actually. The problem with this, right, it's a friend candle, and they have like a multiple, there are like close to like 7 or 8 segmentation what we found actually based on what we built the system. One was like a sarcastic friendship buyers, which is like 35% of the market. Sentimental best friend buyers, like 20%. The problem is on this, the person who's we audited this completely, and we find out like what are the buyer segments what we have, and then and what are they listing focusing on. If you take a look at this, the listing focus on is like they wanna focus on like understand the sarcastic humor, but the problem is they also focusing on heartfelt and also sarcasm. It's confused the whole audience. Because of that reason, they're getting a good clicks, but they're not converting at all. So because of they are not converting, they initially, whatever they rank for, they automatically fall down completely. So this is like a major problem what's happening in Amazon specifically. Why? Because Amazon specifically want a buyer intent right now. It is not about focusing on all the keywords. It's focusing on specifically like a few keywords where they're going to be focused on. For example, here you have like 35% of market. What else is most important? You have like close to 100,000 search volume comes out of like 35% of market. If you're just focusing on this person, you will able to convert much better. Anybody who comes in your listing able to convert much better rather than focusing on, oh, I'm going to be focusing on sentimental, I'm going to focus on sarcastic, and you put all the image and confuse the people completely. They were diluted at this point. So this report we were able to find out exactly what's happening and then how we can able to fix it, what we need to focus on. The second problem is like a keyword momentum. So the keyword momentum is like external traffic. If you bring the external traffic, when Amazon sees certain keywords are very relevant, they automatically rank you. We call this as like an Amazon relevant keyword, recognized keywords. But the problem is, what if the keywords, which is like not really coming traffic, internal traffic, if the keywords are not coming from external or somebody is not typing those keywords, what are you going to do for that one? That's the biggest question what we had at that point. All these things what we prepared is not out of the success. It is comes out of my failure. What we trying to, or how we thought about like we're doing it right, and then we found, okay, we're not doing it something right, and then we have to flip it and find a way to build a solution on this one. So what happened is here is basically like those keywords are not, whatever is not coming, it's not ranking at all. And what we have done is basically go back to the semantic level and build the momentum on that one. This is where we come into two strategy, which is like you have a listing level activity and also like a keyword level activity. One, the listing level activity, what you talk about is like if you put up like in your match title bullet points in a right audience, right segmentation, and your backend audit is right, your backend was like completely clear, and your image and reviews are talking about same segmented audience. It could be like one or two. You cannot focus on many audio segmentation, and then you will able to rank in a better way actually. Yeah. Hold on, sorry, I have to move this one. Then you can move it in a better way actually at this point. So this is like a listing activity, which is like what Amazon, you're giving the input to Amazon. Amazon recognize that this is your keywords, and then they will rank for it when you got the traffic actually with those keywords. The second part is like a keyword level activity. That the keyword level activity, what it comes like, you have certain keywords on your segmentation level, and you want to focus on this, but you don't have the ability to focus on it at all. So that way, in this one, you go into the brand analytics, check what are the keywords are you converting, and what are the keywords are you ranked at this point. Take those keywords and build the semantic level keywords on top of it, and focus on launching those keywords specifically. When your listing level activity is satisfied, which is like a sales are coming from the listing level, and when your keyword level activities are satisfied as well, you could be able to rank 70% higher than a regular keywords at that point. So focus on these two activities. So the second part is like I have done it for my TikTok when I have done it. So it's basically like when the TikTok virality come, when the Amazon page listing hits, and when your clicks and sales are converting and your keyword ranked, but certain keywords you are not able to rank. What you could do is like basically update, go on your different profile in your TikTok, go on and update. You can purchase this using this keyword specifically, and you can type it there and pin it on the top. You could be able to get through that wheel pretty well. If anytime you rank for that keyword, you can change the pin again and again. We have done it for that one in a multiple way. That works really good. The third one is like this is the major problem what's happening right now. It's like a audience versus segmentation. If you're misaligned with your title bullet points and your image and everything and reviews, and you will have a problem in your listing, you're probably not going to rank much better than anybody actually. So when it's aligned pretty well, we have seen our rankings are much better, smoother. We were able to rank very targeted things, and that's also allow other audience to come and then purchase your listing. If you guys want to have like a free alignment, the segmentation for your listing, and also like your listing activity as well. So I scan this coupon code, I can send you the segmentation for your particular audience, and then see that if it's aligned with your whatever audience you're choosing for, is it aligned with your listing? That's where you can able to grow much better and faster actually. All right, that's all I got. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Colin. Super interesting topic. I agree. Like if you make sure the message and not only the message, but the data behind what you put in your listings not aligned, especially with Rufus and everything, you're gonna have a tough time on Amazon to get ranked and recommended. So
Yeah,
very
at that point, you
important.
don't have to focus on Rufus and comp. Of course, you can, but when
Yeah.
you take care of the fundamentals of it, it
Mm.
automatically builds
Exactly.
and
Uh,
everything complete.
uh, exactly. Exactly. Awesome. So next one we have Paul. Paul, how you doing?
Good, and yourself, how are you doing?
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, man. Pleasure to have you. So floor is
Thank you.
yours.
Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. That one over there. TikTok shop, keyword gold mine.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Now let me get started. Okay, so hello to everyone. I'm gonna be very rushed. I have 10 minutes, but I'll get through this pretty quickly because I have never spoken about this before. This is the first time I'm speaking about it because we just launched our own TikTok shop keyword platform. And I launched this a few hours ago to my own list. So literally, this is the first time I'm talking about it. And it's a big deal because like everyone on the call, I've been on Amazon for years and I want to know what keywords are the best to use for TikTok shop. So there we go. So over here, so once you access the tool, go over here. All you do is log in, and it's free to use. But let's say we want to see what the biggest search terms were for August. We can see right over here, the highest search volume was 26,000, and it was bodycon dress outfits teacher. I'm not too sure what that is, but yeah, this is quite cool. What's interesting is take note of this. The search volume is 26,000, and this is for all of August. But then if we go to high potential keywords, and you can see over here, if we do search volume here, we can see the top keyword for just last week was 166,000 for 16% intent. So this data comes straight from TikTok Shop. However, I'm fully aware that they aggregate and change some metrics. So, for example, the search volume for high potential keywords will be different from top search keywords. And much like Amazon, in Amazon, they give the search query performance data and all the analytics. The same thing is available inside each and every single TikTok Shop account. I've taken that data and I put it into this app over here. Now, there we go. So I want to show you a few things because this is huge. A lot of shops fail because they simply choose the wrong keywords. And I want to show you how this data can literally change everything. Because look at this boring category. If you're in beauty or fashion, that's high competition. But let's say you're in health and luggage, the average search is only 10,000 because backpacks is 10,000 as a keyword, but has 4.52% conversion rate. Same, if we look at this over here, the conversion rate for a specific keyword. So for raw honey, it's 4.38% conversion rate. When I say conversion rate, I mean the odds of them making a sale. Same for apple cider vinegar. Same for Miu Miu bag. This is because specific beats generic. So on TikTok Shop, try be as specific as possible. Now this is huge because no one sees this data. Most people have this data and not sure how to use it, but this is huge because the opportunity score is a metric given by TikTok Shop, and it's simply the search volume divided by the number of available products. Anything above 50, go for that. So let me show you over here. There we go over here. So now I'm gonna go for high potential keywords. I'm gonna say last week, and then the opportunity score over here. You can see hundreds, great. And I've sorted this from highest to lowest, but it's really good. So for example, if I was gonna launch a product, these are the keywords I would target if it's appropriate for my niche, for my product. And just going on what Isabella said, let's assume I did the search while she was talking. She spoke about a lilac candle. If I could spell. So I searched over here. It's not available. And that's because the buyer mentality and the data is very different from Amazon versus TikTok Shop. I'm still of the mindset that TikTok Shop is still trying to figure out what to do with keywords because they're not as mature as Amazon. But that being said, all this opportunity is right here. And if I was to launch a product, I would aim for just basically high potential keywords. I would aim for ones that have a high opportunity score. And then, so then the next thing is this software shows the real-time search volume, conversion rates, comparative analysis, opportunity scores, and trend predictions. Because this is real TikTok data. This is straight from TikTok's Search Essential, and much like Amazon's Search Essential when they give that data. And so check that out now. Any questions, let me know. Feel free to scan that QR code or simply go to the tool. It was just launched 6 hours ago, so if there are any mistakes, I'm pretty sure there are. Just let me know. But that's about it for me.
Awesome, Paul. That's good. I'm definitely gonna try. I was already having a look as you were speaking about it, so looks very interesting. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Awesome. Great. So we have next one on the lineup. We have Justin. So Justin, how you doing?
I'm good. There we go. Had to find the button.
Awesome.
I'm doing really
No
good.
worries.
No, I'm really good. I'm excited to be kind of sharing what you guys, this has been awesome. I think there's been a lot of really good information shared here. And so I'm going to try and share something, I guess, maybe not equally as valuable, hopefully equally as valuable. But I think this is, where I'm coming from is from the actual creative side. So I think, the topics we've covered here, obviously, like finding the products to sell, once you're selling on Amazon or TikTok, there's a lot of value here from that perspective. But I'm kind of be coming at this from the side of, once you've got products, either you're selling on Amazon or you're selling on TikTok Shop, and you're trying to, either start creating content yourself for your brand. Maybe you're a small brand, maybe you're just kind of getting started and you want to take the reins and kind of start creating content, or you're getting prepared to work with an agency or working with a creator or something like that. This is kind of what I hope to be helpful is from that perspective. So the first thing I want to talk about is, just in the general sense of creating content about products and about a brand and things like that. One of the biggest things that we run into, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients who've made thousands of videos. And it's interesting that once we've started helping brands create content for their products, one of the things that we run into with so many of these brands is what I call the perfection trap. When it comes to content, right? I'll give some examples that I think will resonate a little bit. But what this means is essentially social media, especially TikTok, right? It moves like lightning. The trends, the videos, the virality is moving so fast. It's really, really hard to stay up on the trends, especially if you're going to be creating content yourself, right? That is going to be one of the first challenges that you run into. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be like, okay, well, what kind of content do I make? How do I make content about my product or my brand? And that's where what I find is, the first thing everyone goes, oh yeah, I can just create content. And it's super easy just to create content. As a brand owner, you're going to fall into the perfection trap, because what's going to happen is the first thing you think about is, what's my brand voice? What's my brand style? How do I want this video to make that person feel, and all that kind of stuff? And what starts to happen is this, what should be a kind of a simple process becomes this very perfected process, right? You go back to the ways of creating your brand. You created your logo and you picked your colors and you made your website. And that's a lot of thought process. It's a lot of building, and how do I want it to look, and how does it feel? What does my brand packaging look like? There's a lot of thought and really in-depth process that goes into that. And it doesn't always equate to creating content, right? And that's what I like to call the perfection trap. And so the first tip here is to stop obsessing over perfection. Start creating and learning. What I coach people on all the time when they're getting started on social. I've been a YouTuber for about 10 years. I go back to the very first video that I made, and it was absolutely horrible. The worst unboxing video you could have ever possibly watched. I cringe every time I watch it. But if you look then and you look now, you'll see I've got a professional style. I know what to say. I know how to say it. My energy is different. I'm talking on a webinar today. I would have never done this 10 years ago, right? I would have been stumbling over my words. And so that's what happens, is you just have to get started, especially on TikTok. If you're going to be starting a channel, starting content, you just have to start. That's the thing that holds most people back for so long, right? Once you get started, that's when consistency also beats perfection, right? So I think at the end, what happens is people can get stuck overthinking the content, right? They start to think like, man, I've got to control what the subtitles look like in every little shot, and then I've got to edit and I got to change things. And you watch these videos over and over, and you keep tweaking, you keep changing. Then a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, you still haven't posted any content. And what you're missing out on is just algorithm. You're missing out on opportunity. You're missing out on algorithm. You're missing out on the chance to just at least start showing up and starting to learn. Because what's going to happen is you're going to make a video and you're going to spend hours and hours, or you're going to spend a ton of money making a video through an agency. You're going to post it. And like anybody in this call will be able to, will tell you, you're going to get like 100 views. And that's it. And you're going to be like, what on earth is happening? Now I've got to analyze, figure out what's wrong. And now you're stuck again in this perfection mode. Move on to the next one. Post the video and move on. Go back, learn what you can. You gotta get the consistency down. It's basically like, I got a little thing here. It says, think about going to the gym, right? You don't get results from one perfect workout. One day, you're not going to go to the gym, lift a bunch of weights, and go home and be like, oh my gosh, my biceps are so much bigger, right? It's results by showing up regularly. You've got to show up multiple times a week. You got to put in the effort. And as you do that, you're going to get better. Your form's going to get better. Your workouts are going to get more intense. Your calorie burn, your muscles are going to start to grow. And that's the same thing with creating content. And that works, with you creating content yourself, or if you're going to be going to an agency, focus on talking to them and saying, hey, let's start making content and we'll learn as we go. Keep it consistent and keep moving forward. Don't get stuck in re-edits, red lines. Let's change this. Let's change that. Let's alter this. Just keep moving. Consistency is key. Now, one little tip here, especially if you're going to be creating content for yourself to kind of get started, kind of getting the machine running, is creating and repurposing content. Make it as easy as possible on yourself to stay consistent. So this is one of the things that that we do a lot of is, so for example, if I'm going to create a video about, a topic on video creation, like something like I would put together for this on social, I will, create a script and keep it loose, keep it topical. I will talk about that product for one video, stop, move the camera, go to a different room, talk about that exact same subject again. Basically, just do that same video again, stop, move, do the same video again. Now I've got 3 videos that I can post this month, next month, and the month after, right? And the beauty of that is we call that batch creating, right? Batch creating is really important because, again, as the people on here would attest to, TikTok, the video may not hit this month, right? When you post it next month and TikTok sends it out and kind of does a little test run to see who likes it, maybe you get a good test group and then that video takes off. Don't create a piece of content and just abandon it. Like it's, I talked about that subject and I can never talk about it again. Allow yourself to reuse content if it's still viable for an extended period of time. It's going to help you save time and it's going to help you ease the burden of staying consistent. And this goes for working with a creator or an agency. Hey, can you make me 3 videos about this product and about this topic and about this thing, right? And then we'll make, more videos here and then schedule them out over a period of time. That way you're just not under the gun constantly needing to create completely net new content. So make it easier on yourself and stay consistent, and repurpose content is a big one. The other thing that's coming out right now is something that's really big, and I've been really, really strong on, is what is going on with dark social. And the dark social is a whole topic that I don't think a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to, or not paying enough attention to. I'm going to keep this really short so I can kind of move on to the point. But dark social is social media sharing that happens on encrypted social media. So for example, when somebody sends a direct message on, WhatsApp or LinkedIn, or sends a text message, right? You can't see that share, right? It goes basically, somebody clicked the share link, it disappeared into the void, and then a few minutes later, somebody showed up directly out of nowhere, right? And that's dark social. That's stuff that we can't see. And why that's important is because somebody created content that somebody felt like they needed to share with someone else. Shared content has some of the highest ROI when it comes to conversion rates, right? If I see a product and I'm like, man, I don't necessarily need that, but I know my brother needs this product and I share it, the percentage rate of him actually clicking that video is probably close to 100%, right? And then if he's going to buy it, if I'm sending it to him and I'm like, yo, we were just talking about this, you need to buy that, his percentage rate of actually purchasing that product, that conversion, is through the roof in comparison to pretty much anything else. And that is why it's so important to, when you're building out a content strategy or you're thinking about making your own content, think about content that people would want to share, right? If it's just an ad and you're like, oh, look at my beautiful water bottle, right? Isn't this the greatest thing that you've ever seen, right? That's not shareable. Now, if I said, hey, this thing has has all these different features and it's going to speak to the specific issue that your product was designed to solve, somewhere, sometime, somebody is going to resonate with that and go, oh, you know who needs to see this? My dad, my mom, my cousin, my best friend, the guy at work, we were just talking about it, right? And that share is super, super powerful. So creating content that is designed in a way to be shared is going to be really important. And so some, obviously humorous stuff, funny stuff, people love to send. I send my wife 100 videos a day. Just, you've got to see this because it's hilarious, right? That kind of stuff is great. Nostalgia, storytelling moments. Nostalgia is a big one too that I think a lot of people sleep on, right? You've probably seen those videos like, hey, if you're a 90s kid, you probably remember this, that kind of stuff. They love sharing that stuff because it brings everybody in that collective. So make content that is built for sharing. Pay attention to that when you're kind of creating the schedule. Obviously, talk about your product in specific ways, but make some content that is designed in with a share in mind. Okay. And then the last thing that I wanted to share really quick too, and this is kind of more focused on people who might be creating their own content or giving a lot of creative feedback to an agency, is think beyond your product itself. What I always call back to, and people were like, you know, what do you mean by this? Is if you've ever seen the show How It's Made, right? It's a perfect example. How It's Made was a show where basically it was a 30-minute episode about, you know, how they make hammers, right? Stanley, how they make hammers. Why am I going to watch a 30-minute show about how they make the hammers, right? They don't even try and sell me the hammers at the end. They just show me how they're made. And I would sit there and everybody would watch a 30-minute episode back to back. You would marathon that show and buy nothing, right? It was just so interesting to see how the product was made, where it was done, what factory it was in, how they made it. And so what I think a lot of people, especially brand owners and product creators, get stuck on is my product is the thing that I need to be selling. Yes, but show people the stuff that's interesting about the product. If you're talking about, products that are, natural products, show them where the product is. If it's applesauce, like show them where the apples are grown, how you harvest the apples, right? Use the process that you probably think is really boring and uninteresting that nobody gets to see. People love to see that on social media, right? They want to sit there in the dark, in bed at night and just flip through stuff, and they want to see something that's interesting and cool. And then at the end, you spin that into why this is such a great product, right? You just saw how we made it. This is why it's something that you should be considering and looking into and potentially buying, right? That's the kind of stuff. So when you're thinking about it, look at your product from, this is my product, but here's all the stuff that I have to figure out and do to make it, and see if there's content hidden in there, because I guarantee you there probably is a gold mine worth of content that is built specifically for social inside of all that process. So with that said, this is the best way to get in contact with me. If you guys are looking for help, we are a video production agency. If you're looking for help creating content, or if you just want to talk and say, hey, here's my product, like, what are some content ideas that I could run with? I'd be happy to check out your product and kind of give you some ideas on like what you could use, to create content for yourself and get your content started. And maybe help kind of break down that like writer's block barrier a little bit for you. So feel free to reach out. WhatsApp, there's my code right there. Feel free to direct message me or hit me up on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to chat with you guys. But hopefully there's some nuggets in here that you can find valuable. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. That was great. I appreciate it. And I remember for everybody in here, remember we are reaching our last speaker for the day. I can see some people have already asked some questions. So if you have some questions that you want us to answer towards the end, please make sure you start asking those now to make sure that then after Michelle, we can dive into those and come to a close of today's webinar. So Michelle, with that, welcome. Floor is yours. How you doing?
Thank you. And great content. All those information that's been shared so far is just chef's kiss. I'm glad that I followed Justin, because I'm going to be talking about content today. Usually I talk a little bit more about TikTok Shop in general, but we're going to be talking about algorithm, baby. We're going to be talking about algorithm. And this is really kind of an area that is a bit of a mystery for a lot of people, but we're going to be breaking it down, and I'm going to show you the exact kind of 3-tier formula for content creation, and using some of Justin's ideas will definitely help you along that journey. So quick question for you guys, poll in the comments. I guess there is not a comment, but I just want you to answer this question for yourself. So quick poll is, who likes ads to pop up in the middle of your entertainment? Who loves that? Like, Vincenzo, you love it?
I love it. I love it.
Lies. So, I mean, obviously none of us do. We're waiting, we're watching the clock, we're muting the ads, like anything, if we're watching Netflix or even YouTube. But sometimes the reality is we're doing this when we are creating content specifically for our TikTok Shop account. We're just focusing on selling instead of remembering what people are there for in the first place. Now, if you need a reminder, let's talk about it. So as you can see here, this was a study that was done in late 2024, so still relevant. But the main reason why people are on social media, this isn't specific to TikTok, but this is social media in general. The main reason is creeping on those friends and families, keep an eye on things, those kinds of things. And very low kind of on that to-do list of why people are on social media is finding products to purchase or finding inspiration on things to do or to buy. So once again, people are on the platform not to buy something. And I would say that this filling spare time, the second, is absolutely where TikTok lives. Because people want to go on there, they have a quick minute, maybe they're at the stoplight. We're not doing that, guys, right? We're not TikToking and driving. But we have a moment at the grocery store. We're picking up the kids from soccer or school. We're in that line, and we just want to fill some spare time, and we want to see whatever TikTok's has for us. And we don't want to necessarily be sold to, right? We need to reconnect with the reason why we're on social media in the first place. So I want you guys to meet a brand that I had the opportunity to work on this presentation with. We got to put this together for them last week. They're a brand called Final Boss Sour, and they are they're a fruit snack brand. They're one of the highest selling sellers in the food and beverage category on TikTok Shop. And they sell fruit that is also really sour. And they have different levels of sourness, all that kind of fun stuff. It's a fun brand. And they are, they're kind of a big deal. They've made a lot of money, and their brand account is actually their top selling account. And this is just in like the last few months in the data wise, but obviously you can see 2024 and 2025 across all channels, over a $10 million seller. So they're killing it when it comes to TikTok, and TikTok is their primary viewing source. You can see over the last couple of years that they've gotten over 1 billion views on their videos. So what is their formula? Like, what are we talking about here, and how are they driving success? This is not just a creator, monetizing their account. This is a brand monetizing their content. So the first thing that we need to understand is our content, what I call the content funnel formula. And there's 3 parts of this funnel. We have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content. And Justin's nodding his head because he understands this really well as a content creator. So top of funnel content is engaging, it's educational, it's controversial, it's entertaining, it's shareable, it's savable, right? All of those things that make you want to be on the platform in the first place. It's the wow factor that is TikTok, right? And when it comes to brand content, it needs to follow this kind of formula as well, that you need to be creating awareness about your brand, not just selling a product. Now, I have a couple of examples, of course, for you to help you understand what I'm talking about.
Hey kid, you want some candy?
Depends.
You guys can hear that, right?
I got. What do I got? I got funding.
You funding? Don't you know that stuff is full of red 40, yellow 5, and all sorts of other chemicals?
I got chemicals. You want some chemicals?
Nah. Sour blue raspberry mango different. You take real chewy mango strips and then dip them into naturally flavored super sour powder. They taste amazing and are way more sour than anything made in the lab.
I was like, where did you guys get that creator? Because he's a little too good at his job there, right? Here's another example of some top of funnel content.
Yes. I didn't order a dad puppet. Listen, I apologize, but everybody should meet my jail. You should have started already. Get this fixed. It's okay. Grandpa's actually dead. Okay.
All right, obviously meets all of those criterias that we were talking about, right? And I will also point out to you, how long was it into the content before you ever saw the product? Quite a ways, right? All right, so now let's talk about middle of funnel, because we are here to sell something, right? Now, middle of funnel content is product-oriented content. It has that product focus to it. It's talking about the features and the benefits, the details of the products, and you're likely demonstrating the product too. So this is where the majority, from a content perspective, of videos that need to be created need to be focused in here on the middle of funnel. So let's see some examples of this.
100% real fruit, 100% really sour. I just got my Final Boss Sour Sampler Pack, and I'm ready to see what we got in here. Okay, so as you can see here, we got a variety of flavors and a variety of levels of sour. We've got blueberries, strawberries, and cranberries. The thing about this company is all of their candy is 100% real fruit. The design's super cute. As you can see, they have a character for each level and for each flavor, so it's fun to make a game out of it for the kids. I will give you a warning before giving this to any kids. I would try it yourself because this stuff is seriously sour. And just take a look how beautiful this candy is. Here's some of the cranberries there. We've got the real blueberries there, and I'm telling you right now, the blueberry ones are scary sour. My personal favorite is the strawberry. Just look how beautiful those are. If you're up for the challenge, I'll leave the link for it on this video, but I'm giving you a heads up right now, the sour candy is not for the weak.
Yeah, we tried some at the presentation, and my co-presenter couldn't speak for a while. He was like drowning in his own. But I love those zoomed in. You know, it was a great product demo. Obviously, the product is very TikTokable. It demonstrates really well. Here's another example.
Most sour candy in the world, and it's not even. It's back, guys. The most viral product we have ever launched. These are the blue raspberry mango dippers from Final Boss Sour. My mouth is already watering just thinking about eating these. So let's open them up and give them a try. On this side, you have dried mango strips, and on this side, you have our blue raspberry sour powder. On the back of the pack, it says lick, dip, and rinse. Okay, getting out our mango strip. Get it all gussied up. Oh my gosh. 3, 2, 1. Oh! I forget how sour that is. You guys want to taste the nostalgia with a super sour cake? Go to finalbosssour.com right now and order yourself the mango dippers.
So once again, great demonstrable product. They're zooming in close on those, you know, product angles. No talk about price, just demonstrating the product, right? Middle of funnel, very well done. Okay, now let's talk bottom of funnel, right? We need to motivate some action here. And this is where we talk about like content and videos that are price centric. We're talking about discounts. There's time sensitivity, or maybe there's special offers. And heaven knows there's always campaigns running on TikTok Shop that you can refer to. And obviously heading into Q4, you know, we have a deadline, right? We have Christmas Day, we have Hanukkah, we have whatever holiday we're rooting for. We have a deadline that we need to hit. So heading into Q4, this is a great time. Building content to get ready for bottom of funnel is really critical and really crucial. So how do we kind of put this all together? Oh, well, let's show some videos first.
Genuinely the most sour candy in the world. Made with real dried fruit. This box comes with dried strawberries, dried blueberries, and dried cranberries, and 3 levels of sour. If you've been waiting to get your hands on it, this Tuesday I'm going to be doing a massive live stream doing giant discounts. Giant discount. So click the link on the screen so you get notified when I'm live on Tuesday. Jump in, buy a box, take the challenge. You won't be disappointed. We'll see you on Tuesday.
So a little product demo, but leaning heavy into that, you know, call to action of the pricing.
Final Boss Sour for $5? That's right, because you guys made Final Boss Sour the #1 selling candy on TikTok Shop. We're giving it away for $5 tomorrow night on my live stream, 3 to 7 p.m. We'll see you there.
Yeah, so very price centric there. Culver City offices of TikTok Shop right there. Okay, so what is that algorithm hacking formula? Essentially, top of funnel, we want to entertain to build a brand. You don't have to create these high production forms of content, but you do need to be thinking about what kind of content will help people get to know us as a brand and help differentiate us, for that long term. How can we educate? How can we entertain? How can we make content that is shareable, savable, and is there to add value as opposed to just sell? Right? It is and is leaning into why people are on the platform in the first place, which is to discover and to be entertained. Second is that middle of funnel where we're promoting products. And this, like I said, this is where the bulk of your content really needs to be produced. A minimum 30 to 50 per month. I would probably err on the side of 50 to 100. And then bottom of funnel where we're creating that scarcity and excitement is really 30 to 50 videos per month. And once again, with you can, if you want to, you can build up to going live daily. This is not a requisite or anything like that, but it definitely helps people. If you have a product that has any level of needing to be sold to it, educated, help people understand the product better before they choose to purchase. If there's kind of like a consideration phase to your product, then going live is definitely going to help you there to be able to tell your brand story from a top of funnel and even bottom of funnel focus. And then TikTok Shop has GMV Max ads that are able to run ads to any kind of shoppable content. And then you could also use top of funnel traffic style ads to run more of your top of funnel content too, to increase your traffic and use GMV Max for those kind of remarketing and retargeting campaigns. So yeah, this is the formula for success. I do have our new launch mastermind starting in a couple of weeks. So if you're just getting started on TikTok Shop and you don't know what to focus on, you're tired of, you've tried starting but haven't seen results and you want a step-by-step framework, you can scan there to learn more about our upcoming cohort.
Awesome, Michelle. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Kind of fun stuff, right? Fun.
That's good.
Make your,
Those
do any of
videos
you
were
guys
fun.
like sour candy? Are you guys sour candy oriented?
I do, but I haven't tried the brand. The video were so good, I actually want to try now.
Yeah, well, they have different levels of sour, so it's definitely one of I'm weak sauce. I'm very much like I don't like sour things.
Oh, I'm in for the top. I'm in for the top.
You got to go for the level 4
Yeah,
stuff
big
then.
time.
Colin, are you
No, I cannot stand for sour, but I love to try. But it's, oh yeah.
Well, and the nice thing about it, I think one of the things about it is that it's gimmicky in the sense that it's sour, but it still is dried fruit, and so it's not this candy. You're not giving your kids, crap to eat. You're still giving them something healthy, but you're also making it.
That's a good angle of it. Why? Because there is a candy like sour candy before it was like super trendy, and then they go in a segment of like a natural plus having the things there actually. So it's like super interesting.
Right. And dried fruit by itself is naturally sour, has that kind of like lack of sugar. Isabella, are you a sour candy eater? You like sour
100%.
stuff?
A little, especially when I was pregnant. That one I was craving those a lot.
For sure.
Awesome, guys. So, it's been a pleasure to have you on the webinar, and I just wanted to go very quickly over some questions that I also had. That I know these are questions that I always ask when it comes to TikTok, so it's going to be 2 or 3 questions. I wanted to go over that to pick a bit more from your brains, and then we can end today's webinar. I can see also we have 2 questions here that we already got. We answered them. One of them was regarding platform to communicate with influencers. So, Michelle, you mentioned that you can use TikTok built-in dashboard, but I believe there's third-party tools as well that can be used for that, correct?
Yeah, I think the thing is, I don't want people to overcomplicate it when they're first just getting started. They think that they have to build this affiliate network themselves manually, and you don't have to, because TikTok and TikTok Shop have that all built into the platform for you to be able to reach out, recruit creators to sample your products on TikTok Shop directly. And then what I tell people is like, look, let the cream rise to the top. You're going to be able to identify your top performing sellers and creators really quickly, and then develop, turn those people into what I would call your brand ambassadors, maybe even hire them to create additional UGC for you on maybe like a retainer basis and an ongoing basis. It's easy to get overwhelmed at first. And I think people see these big brands creating these big Discord communities or whatever it might be. And that's just really not necessary to get started on the platform.
Cool. I guess, Colin, yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I have a question for Justin and also Melissa. Like, I'm also in the process of like doing the bulk video. So, Justin, you showed me something like the same video can be posted multiple times. I have a situation like the content created and posted directly in the TikTok, and it was created and then put it in like Instagram from repurpose. We posted there. That turns better view than regular content I post directly in the TikTok. Have you had that experience before like that?
So let me clarify. You don't want to post the same video multiple times.
On
So
TikTok.
what I meant was you can use the same topic. You just need to basically create a net new piece of content, right? That could be re-editing, change the sounds, change the music, right? And what I guess what I was getting at is if you're going to script a video, right? Do a loose script is what I like to call those. And then like where you're kind of ad-libbing a little bit, you're just kind of just talking about a topic, right? Because then that allows you to do it a couple times in different locations, right? And create a net new piece of content. So don't repurpose your content on an individual platform. This goes for all of them. I wouldn't take a video you did last month and post the exact same video again next month. Don't do that on any platform. What I'm getting at, just so we're clear on that, don't convince that. But you can use the same topic. You could use the same B-roll shots and kind of just change it up, right? Just you're mixing it up, but then use that again. Don't abandon it. Don't like do this whole production thing that you've done, do all these B-roll shots of your products and then just post them one time and leave them. That's content you can continue to use, is what I was saying there. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Melissa, the one thing what I was understand from your friend funnel, have you seen any kind of like a AI video for, is it working better or what is your take on that one actually?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, exactly to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm Michelle. Nice to meet you. I get Melissa a lot sometimes.
Oh, did I say
but-
Melissa? Okay, sorry.
I was like, I don't think there's any Melissas on this call this time. I know plenty of brilliant Melissas, so I would never want to take their spotlight.
Sorry about that.
So are you talking specifically about AI content on TikTok?
Yeah.
There's plenty of AI content. So here's the thing though, is that TikTok is very oriented towards authenticity. So what TikTok was built on, if you remember when TikTok really got its legs, was during COVID. And during COVID, we were all stuck in our houses. Our roots were growing out. Our kids were running around in the background. We were in pajamas all day long, right? Like all of these things. And unlike Instagram, which is highly curated and this whole kind of like, perfection experience, people were like relieved to come to TikTok and see reality, right? Now, is it real? Is it real? Are all the conspiracy theories and things like that real? One doesn't know, but what TikTok is not in the business of is fake news, false content, all that sort of thing. So while AI is something that is usable and, people use it all the time, especially supplements and beauty brands can use that for their products. I'd like the lifespan of those we'll have to see, but just dabble carefully. We'll just say that in the short term.
Cool.
Awesome.
So I guess,
Go ahead.
go on.
Oh no, I was gonna add on that. One place, and Michelle, you'll probably resonate with this, where AI is doing really well is when the content is very clearly AI, like unapologetically AI,
Right, yeah.
and like so ridiculously crazy that it
17
like,
fingers, like all
well,
of
no,
it.
well, there's like the Yeti videos. I mean, the Bigfoot
Oh yeah,
videos.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and the people that are turning those into like ads for TikTok, like, like I got this flashlight headlamp, and I'm looking through and that's a great use because it's like, obviously this is not real, but it's like, and it's so hilarious. That kind of content's great. It's the stuff that I think, and this is, I think what Michelle was getting at, that's masquerading as real, but that's where it gets dicey, and that's where it gets a little bit, you can actually damage your brand if you're not careful. You have to be really careful with that kind of stuff. But I think if you're going to go use AI and you want to just go over the top, just absolutely wild, marketing stuff, that can win massively. It can go super viral, and there's no need to like say it's AI. obviously it's AI, right? Like, unless, Bigfoot actually did get a camera and started making content.
Good for
But
him. It's about time.
right. I mean, if he is, he's crushing it, right? I mean, like, but I think there's a place for it, but I think there is also a lot of caution. And I'm really strong about this as well. I think there's a huge rush towards AI generated content in e-commerce right now. And I think you always have to keep in mind that the platforms have to protect the user. And if the users start abandoning content because there's too much AI, which then turns them to abandon the platform because there's too much AI, they will start to restrict it. And then if you've built your platform on AI driven content machine, you could find yourself in a very short amount of time. I think within the next year or two, we're going to see the pendulum swing back. Don't
They
rely
already
on
did
it
it
too
for
heavily.
YouTube, right? YouTube is already did. That's a question what I had, you guys, for everybody here is basically I have seen a lot of agency popping up with like, oh, they can create a UGC content with like an AI and take a screenshot of somebody and then starting videos of them completely. And I was like super into it. Like, oh, I clone myself for all my content. If you go on YouTube and I clone myself, I put my own content there, right? But I felt like if somebody is like having this glass and talking about like AI, how fake are we going to be there actually, literally, right?
Yeah, I think we're gonna enter a phase that there's gonna be just like a check of verified review. There's gonna be a check on videos like no AI used on this video, and people is gonna trust people with those badges.
YouTube already has that. YouTube already has that in their upload flow now. You have to flag if you've used any, if anything didn't happen in real life, you have to flag it. And just keep in mind, there's been a lot of conversation about this in the last couple of days on LinkedIn that even AI generated content falls within the FTC rules of you have to tell people like very clearly in the video, in audio, in written. It can't be just a hashtag that it is an AI and it is sponsored, right? So there's a lot of learning that's coming, I think, in the not too distant future. If the FTC starts acting on those rules, we're gonna see
if they act on the reviews actually in Amazon, probably like people putting up a AI content and putting it out actually literally, oh, this product is amazing product you use and then you cure cancer.
Well, you can't say that in general
No, I'm just saying.
on social platforms. You still can't make claims of any kind like that in general. But just a word, just from an example standpoint, I'm working with a seller right now. It's some lotion or potion type of product, and the majority of their affiliates right now are all producing, these AI just trash videos, truly, and they're posting them on burner accounts. It's totally a cash grab type of scenario. And he has investors, and so they're like, oh, great, you're growing and all the success on TikTok Shop. And, going viral, of course, is its own plague to your Amazon stores, right? And can definitely be a dangerous game to play. But it's like that's not sustainable. And when you are looking for what investors are looking for and it's been a while since we've been in the aggregator bubble, but what brands, eventually if you're wanting to be able to sell your brand, you want something that has a roadmap to it for success. And all these kind of like short burn strategies don't get you results long term.
Yeah, they don't help you create an asset, which in this case a business for long term. It's just gonna be cash now and nothing in the future. Which I guess brings me to my last question to conclude today's webinar, which is something I get asked a lot and I wanna hear your take. To have success on TikTok, what is better, quantity or quality in content?
Yes.
What is better? Choosing quantity, which is hundreds and hundreds of video qualities all over the place, or quality?
Yes.
What is better?
Why it's supposed to be or?
It's not an or. That's what we're saying. It's an and because you have to test. You have to test the algorithm. If somebody says that they have the algorithm, they've known it. I'm like, it changed in the last 5 minutes, probably in the last 5 seconds. It's a bob and weave, right? So like Justin does this all day long with across multiple social media channels,
Well, I think the other thing is there's a define quality is the other thing, right? Like because if you go to you know, a multi-billion-dollar, you know, marketing agency and you define quality, it's one video costs, you know,
Exactly.
$150,000 and it's got like, you know, that's
And all
okay.
the red
Let me
tape you have to go
define
through, what
quality.
you say. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
define quality. I mean, you know, if you go on to TikTok and you look at some of the videos that are like that have, you know, 8 million views and you watch
Random,
that
really.
video and tell me if that's quality
Yeah.
from a video production statement, right? Like what is quality? Quality is, in my opinion, is it achieving the goal, right? Is if it's achieving the goal, shoot, it could be a shaky cell phone video of a guy in his backyard talking about the mower that he's just bought, right? I think quality and is a you have to define that according to what your goals are, right? Quality, I think, is different for every brand, every product, and things like that. Quantity is obviously there's quantity, right? If you're not posting on a consistent basis, and I'm not saying quantity has to be like, you know, 100 videos a day, but you should be able to hit a target, like a focused target every single week. How many times am I posting every week? How many times am I posting every day? I'd say, like as Michelle's saying, quantity is going to allow you to learn and adjust. And eventually you're going to hone in on the quality that works for your product and your brand, as opposed to just like, I'm going to focus in. And that was basically one of the main things about my entire section was don't get stuck on quality. Like what is quality, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
for Nike, quality is like, you know, getting LeBron James and, you know, doing a
$2
crazy
million.
shoot in the middle of New
Yeah.
York during rush hour and they rent the entire Times Square, right? That's quality. For a small brand that sells, you know, sour, you know, dried fruit candy, they don't need that level of production. They need to move product. And that, you know, and if the video's moving product, then they've hit their quality checkbox, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
I
good.
have a
Colin?
question. Vince,
Yeah.
I have like I'm go with like a quantity man right now. TikTok doesn't know. It doesn't even like. We have done a. I'm growing my TikTok account from 0 to like 80 million or something. I mean, all the videos where we got hit, like we have no idea that video is gonna get hit actually. So we just consistently posting 2 to 3 content from per account, like a 4 or 5 accounts. Then it got bigger and it got consistency. But I got a question from both of you, which is like, let's say the brand going through like 100 view lock, actually, or 300 view lock. What are you guys suggesting right now for the brands?
So is that for me or for Justin?
Justin or
Anybody? Yeah.
anybody?
Justin, you want to take that?
So getting out of what you call
Mijan?
like the 100-view jail,
Yep.
Yeah,
like
100
as
view job.
from a content standpoint. So
From
here's
the-
the thing. It's important to understand how content works on TikTok because it's unlike any other platform. On TikTok, it's not about your followers. It's not about the vanity metrics. Every single video on TikTok has the same starting line. And so every video has the opportunity to go viral, if you will. And what TikTok does is it gives you 200 views initially to test your video and see how it responds in market, basically. And if people are, the view time of your video, the engagement on your video, likes, comments, shares, those types of things. The more that receives, the more likely it is to get more and more views. Now, some things to experiment with is your view time. If you're making long videos, that's going to hurt you. So experiment with the 7-second, 10-second, 15-second. People have short attention spans. So get to the point and get on with it, But like there is no quick, easy fix. And anybody who says that they have something for that is full of it. And there's plenty of creators on the platform who will say like, oh, this is the fix. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You're just doing that for your own likes and views and engagement,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah. So to tack onto that, it's just don't stop. Don't stop. Don't let it discourage you. It will end, right? If you continue to use this is exactly what it is. There isn't a jail. It's that the content you're making right now is just not resonating today, right? And that's kind of goes into what I was saying with the batch idea, right? This video today about this topic didn't hit, right? Will it next month? Possibly. Will it 2 months from now? Possibly, right? So, you can pipeline stuff, but use it as a way to test it out and just don't stop. I mean, it is super discouraging, right? And I will tell you I have 3 accounts that we're constantly posting content, and sometimes for like, we'll get 3 videos in a row that's just, 200, 210, 215, 150, but then all of a sudden we're like 4,000, 6,000, 3,000, right? It all of a sudden just breaks away. Just don't stop. That is the biggest thing, is don't let people make you think that you're stuck or shadow banned or you're stuck in something. No, you just keep pushing, just keep going, right? Just keep making content, keep putting it out there. If it's not hitting right, keep checking it. Make sure your friends, your coworkers are just stopping by your channel every once in a while and open up the videos, and they're following and they get the notifications when you post new content and stuff, and just make sure they're engaging it and sharing it and posting it. Like I think like Michelle was saying, there's a lot of gurus out there that are like, just do this and do that, and you
Silver
gotta
bullet. Yeah, the
post
silver
the video
bullet.
and then log off for 2 hours and then come back on. And it's like, no, there's no ritual to do. Just keep making content and just keep it consistent, keep it moving. Let the algorithm know, hey, there's a video today, didn't do so well. Guess what? There's going to be a video tomorrow and the next day and the next day, right? Just don't stop and don't get caught up in it. And if you are the brand owner, try not to look at the metrics, right? I think that's where people get lost a lot too. They get scared. They're like, oh my gosh, this isn't working. No, it will. Just keep going. Just keep pushing, keep going, keep making better content. And then when you see stuff that hits and you're like, whoa, that one took off, stop, figure out why you think that may have happened, right? Was your hook really good? Was it really funny? And replicate, right? Use that as your moment to now, okay, got it. We got some insight, right? Take notes, and then use those notes, I think is the way. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. I mean, I appreciate all of you being here. It's been a pleasure. I mean, the content is usual gold. So thank you so much for that. For everybody that joined us live, remember, even if you join throughout the whole webinar, this then is going to be shared across all our channels and YouTube channels. So then feel free to go back and, have a look at some of the presentations we had today. And other than that, guys, thank you once again. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully I'm going to see you soon at upcoming events. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. See you guys. Take care. Bye bye. Yeah. Bye bye. Ciao.